All right, so this time we're diving into Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead.
Oh, yeah.
And, this is one that I feel like is on a lot of people's must-read lists,
For sure.
but also is known to spark some pretty heated discussions.
Yeah, it's not exactly light reading,
Yeah,
but I think that's part of what makes it so interesting.
totally. And, even just getting into it, what really struck me right away was this contrast we see between Roark and Keating.
Oh, yeah.
These two guys, they both come out of architecture school
Mm.
with this, obvious talent, but then their career paths just go in such wildly different directions.
Yeah, it's a really great way to introduce one of Rand's, central ideas, which is this philosophy of objectivism.
Right.
And I mean, to put it simply, it really emphasizes this idea of reason and self-interest.
Okay.
Like, she believed that individuals should really pursue their own happiness and not sacrifice themselves for others,
Yeah.
which you can see playing out in how these two characters approach their work.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to see like Roark is just so uncompromising.
Mhm.
He refuses to like change his designs to please clients.
Yeah.
He would literally rather go work in a quarry than compromise his vision.
Yeah, he's got such a strong sense of self.
He does. There's actually this great line where he's talking to the dean and he says, "I don't usually let things happen to me. I made a mistake this time. I shouldn't have waited for you to throw me out. I should have left long ago."
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's such a Rourke line.
Yeah.
Just this declaration of independence.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to be molded by these outside pressures.
Exactly. And then on the other side of that, we have Keating, who seems so obsessed with fitting in and pleasing everyone
Right.
except himself.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that scene with the burgundy necktie?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic Keating moment, for sure.
He starts working for this prestigious firm,
Mm-hmm.
and his boss just casually suggests, a burgundy necktie would be so much better than blue with your gray smock, don't you think so?
Yeah.
And Keating just jumps at the chance to conform. He's like, "Yes, sir, thank you. You'll see it tomorrow."
It's painful to watch.
It is. You can practically see him shrinking,
Yeah.
under this burgundy necktie.
And that really captures, like, Rand's whole critique of societal pressure
Yeah.
and how it just erodes away at individuality.
Yes.
Like, Keating really becomes this symbol of someone who's traded their own creative spirit
Yeah.
for just the fleeting validation of others.
It's sad.
It is.
And it actually kind of reminds me of this other character, Henry Cameron.
Oh, yeah, Rourke's mentor.
Yes. Who is this, like, incredibly talented architect,
Right.
but has been so beaten down by a public that just refuses to appreciate
Yeah.
his innovative work.
He's kind of a cautionary tale for Rourke about, like, the potential heartbreak
Yeah.
of choosing that individual path.
There's this really poignant conversation they have
Yeah.
where Cameron's talking to Roark and he says, "But finally you'll get into a man's office with your drawing, and you'll curse yourself for taking so much space of his air with your body. You'll want to rip your insides open to show him, because if he saw what's there, he'd have to let you put it up."
Wow.
Yeah.
It's such a vivid image.
Yeah, and you can feel this desperation
Yes.
in his voice to have his work recognized,
To connect with someone who sees his vision.
Exactly. But for him, it seems like it's a battle he's already lost, you know?
Yeah, he ends up kind of succumbing to alcoholism and despair.
He does. It's really sad.
It is.
And so you have these architects, right, struggling to create this meaningful work.
Yeah.
But then there's Ellsworth Toohey,
Right.
who isn't even an architect,
He's not an architect.
but he's this incredibly influential critic.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's this puppet master,
Oh, yeah, too. He talk about a manipulator.
pulling strings with everyone around him.
He really embodies everything that Rand is opposed to, like championing mediocrity, preying on people's insecurities, and promoting this idea of selflessness that actually just serves his own ambitions.
And it's crazy how he does it so subtly.
He does. It's so subtle.
Like with Peter Keating, he's constantly feeding his insecurities,
Yeah.
steering him further down this path of conformity.
And don't forget his newspaper column,
Oh, right.
where he's using these beautifully crafted words
Yeah.
to control public opinion.
And tear down anyone who threatens his power.
Exactly.
Okay, but where does Dominique Franson fit into all of this?
Dominique.
She's this brilliant, independent woman,
She is.
but she's so conflicted,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to Roark.
Yeah, she embodies this struggle between individual desire and societal pressure.
Right.
Like, she is intensely drawn to Rourke's strength and his talent,
Yeah.
but she's also terrified of the world's reaction to him.
Okay, so then why would she marry Keating?
That's the thing about Dominique.
Huh.
She's fascinating. She's
Yeah.
drawn to Roark, but she also tries to sabotage their connection. And I think the marriage to Keating is like this desperate attempt
Okay.
to prove that she's immune to Roark's power.
Wow.
And to kind of shield herself from the pain of loving someone
Yeah.
who's destined to be rejected by the world.
So she's playing a dangerous game.
She is.
Speaking of playing dangerous games, there's Gail Wynand,
Oh, yeah.
who has built this media empire through ruthlessness,
Mm-hmm.
but then becomes so fixated on Roark's integrity.
It's like he sees the world's corruption,
Yeah.
but he's also participating in it.
Yeah. There's this one line that really stuck with me where Wynand says to Toohey, I play the stock market of the spirit, and I sell short.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's admitting to his own moral compromises.
Yeah, he knows how to manipulate public opinion,
Mhm.
but encountering Roark forces him to question everything he's built.
Right.
It's like this clash between cynicism
Yeah.
and respect.
So then we have this pivotal event, the Stoddard Temple,
Yeah.
where Roark designs this unconventional modernist temple,
Right.
but it ends up being destroyed.
Uh-huh.
And the trial that follows becomes this battleground between individualism and collectivism.
The temple itself is like this representation
Yeah.
of Roark's unwavering vision
Right.
and his refusal to conform
yes.
to these architectural norms.
But of course, too, he's working behind the scenes,
Of course he is.
manipulating everything.
He sees Roark's temple as a threat
Oh, yeah.
to his own power.
Absolutely.
He has to control the narrative.
Yeah, and even Keating gets dragged into it,
Oh, yeah, poor Keating.
having to testify against Roark.
It's heartbreaking
It is.
because it shows how effective Toohey's manipulation is.
Yeah, he's twisted Keating's ambition
He has.
and turned him into a pawn.
Yeah.
But then Roark delivers this incredible closing argument.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It's not just a defense of himself,
Uh-huh.
but it's this powerful statement of his philosophy,
Right.
this belief in the individual's right to self-expression.
This is where Rand really lets Roark speak. Like, he's not pleading for mercy. He's laying out his principles, his
Yeah.
belief in individual creation,
Exactly.
and he's challenging those forces of conformity
Hmm.
that try to diminish individual expression.
I think we're just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, and it's interesting how even after the trial, that whole conflict just keeps intensifying,
yeah.
Like when Hopton Stoddard,
Yeah.
the guy who commissioned the temple, actually wins the lawsuit.
Right. And then, too, he gets to choose the architects for the reconstruction.
It's like a victory lap for him.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to handpick these architects who represent everything Roark opposes.
It's kind of crazy.
It really shows how effective he is at manipulating things.
It does. And there's that young guy, Gus Webb.
Oh, yeah.
The book describes him as someone who likes to utter obscenities when passing well-bred women on the street.
Toohey loves those types.
Yeah.
The ones who are hungry for power but lack the talent.
It's almost like he takes pleasure in controlling them.
Yeah, like he's molding them,
Yeah. Yeah. And we see something similar happening with Keating after the trial.
Oh, totally.
He wins this prestigious award,
Right.
but it's for Roark's design.
And it's so empty.
There's this line where Keating's thinking about the award and he realizes that he discovered that he liked this process of hesitation. He held the fate of two men and of many potential others, their fate, their work, their hope, perhaps even the amount of food in their stomachs.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like his ambition has become completely warped.
Yeah. Instead of finding fulfillment in his own achievements,
Right.
he's clinging to this illusion of power.
It's really a consequence of his constant need for validation.
So let's talk about Dominique.
Okay.
Her relationship with Roark is so intense and complicated.
It's a roller coaster.
She's obviously attracted to him,
Yeah.
but she also spends so much time trying to sabotage their relationship.
It's because she sees his potential downfall.
Yeah. And she goes to some pretty extreme lengths to distance herself.
Like what?
Like when she dynamites the Cortlandt Homes project.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
It's like she was trying to destroy his work to save him from rejection.
It's a twisted form of love.
And then she marries Keating.
I know, it's wild.
It's like she's trying to extinguish her feelings for Roark,
Yeah, convince herself that she can conform.
but it totally backfires.
Of course.
There's also this interesting dynamic between Dominique and Toohey.
Oh, yeah, they have a weird connection.
It's like they understand each other.
They're both intelligent and aware of manipulation.
Yeah, but Toohey uses it to control others.
And Dominique wants to protect greatness.
It's like a chess match between them.
Totally.
Like when Toohey subtly critiques her apartment's design.
He can't help but assert his dominance.
Yeah, even in something like interior design.
He wants to make her feel like he sees through her.
And then there's Gail Wynand.
Wynand.
His fascination with Roark becomes this controlling obsession.
He admires Roark, but also sees him as a threat.
Yeah, he wants to possess Roark's genius.
But he's gonna learn that true creativity can't be controlled.
There's a scene where he commissions Roark to design a house for him and Dominique. And he says, "I've never wanted to own anything as much as I want this house you're going to build for me, Howard. I don't feel that I'll own it because no matter what I do or say, it's still yours. It will always be yours."
That's so revealing.
It is.
He's used to getting what he wants.
Yeah, but he senses that he can't possess Roark's spirit.
And Dominique sees right through him.
She knows how to push his buttons,
Like Toohey.
but her motives are different.
She's trying to create a space for Roark's talent.
It's a dangerous game,
It is.
especially when Wynand decides to use his newspapers to defend Roark.
He's trying to control the narrative.
But he's about to learn a hard lesson.
About the limits of his power.
Yeah, and Wynand kind of has this moment of reckoning,
Yeah.
where he realizes he can't control everything,
Yeah.
and he actually ends up giving up his entire newspaper empire.
Because he won't betray Roark.
Exactly.
Mm.
He realizes that holding on to that power would mean sacrificing his own integrity. It's a pretty powerful moment.
It is, yeah.
And then there's Dominique.
Right.
I'm still thinking about her blowing up the Cortlandt homes.
I know.
And then just admitting to it in court.
She's like challenging the world to judge her.
Yeah. And it seems like she's finally free,
Yeah.
from all those expectations that were holding her back.
She's found her own purpose.
There's that line where she tells Roark, "My darling, do you see why I'm happy and why I'm free?"
Yeah. It's like she's finally living in accordance with her own values.
And then, of course, there's the trial.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Everyone's waiting for Roark to defend himself.
Yeah.
But he gives this incredible speech about individualism.
That speech is Rand at her best.
Yeah, she's really laying out her philosophy.
Her belief in the individual.
The creator.
The animator.
It really makes you think about what it means to live a meaningful life.
Yeah, for sure.
He says the creator's concern is the conquest of nature. The parasite's concern is the conquest of men.
He's drawing a line between those who create and those who exploit.
It's a pretty radical idea.
It is.
And I know it's caused a lot of controversy.
But that's what makes it so thought-provoking.
It
It really stays with you.
So after all this, what do you think is the main takeaway from the Fountainhead?
I think Rand is really trying to emphasize the importance of staying true to your vision,
Yeah.
even when you face opposition.
She's saying that real fulfillment comes from creating
And from expressing your individuality.
without compromise.
And she's warning us against sacrificing our creative spirit.
For approval or success?
It's a powerful message that's still relevant today.
Definitely makes you wonder what a world would look like if everyone embraced that idea,
Yeah. What if everyone felt empowered to create without compromise?
That's something to think about.
Well, this has been quite a journey.
It has.
Thanks for helping us explore the Fountainhead.
It was my pleasure.
And to you listening, we hope this deep dive has given you something to think about.
For sure.
Be sure to check out our other episodes and submit your own ideas for future deep dives.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep diving deep.